Welcome to the video lesson on representing percents as fractions. So what this means is we're going to go from a percent like this into a fraction, something that has a numerator and a denominator. The first thing I need you to do is write down the first step. So our first step is to write the percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. If we were to do that, we would write 55, I'm doing number 1, I'll do it down here, please do it on your guided note. I would write 55% as 55 over 100. Percentage is this sign here, the symbol percent, always represents out of 100. That's what it means. So 55% means, that's supposed to be an arrow, means 55 out of 100. So you always write it like this. Let's do the same thing with number 2 so that you can see it right away. If I was to write 4% as a fraction out of 100, I write 4 out of 100. So our denominator will always be 100. Okay, let's look at step number 2. Step number 2 is to simplify the fraction. Well, we need to simplify 55 out of 100 and write it in its simplest form. Well, I know that both 55 and 100 are divisible by 5, so I'm going to divide them by 5. 55 divided by 5 is 11, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So this will be my final answer. Okay, let's do the same thing with 4 and 100. So let's try dividing them both by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. And then 100 divided by 4. If you can't do it in your head, just do it on the side. 100 divided by 4. 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtraction, get 2. Bring down that 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. So we subtract them and get 0. So it's 25. And that is in simplest form, so you should get 1 over 25. Okay, now I challenge you to do 32 on your own, so please pause the video and try doing 32. When you're finished, you can play it and check your answer. Okay, hopefully you've now tried number 3. Number 3, writing 32% as a fraction. We're going to do it on our own. We're just going to do it by following those steps. First step is to write the percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Okay, percent just means out of 100. So 32% means 32 out of 100. Next step is to simplify the fraction. Well, I can see that right away that they're both divisible by 2. And if you did that, that's great. You would have simplified it again. But I know that 8 times 4 is 32. So I'm going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4. And I remember from before over here that 100 divided by 4 is 25. And 32 divided by 4 is 8. That would be our final answer, 8 over 25. Okay, do the U-tries on your own. If you have any questions about it, replay the video and then raise your hand and ask me. The next thing we're going to talk about is writing percents as decimals. So we've written percents as fractions. Now we need to write them as decimals. And our first step for this is exactly the same as writing percents as fractions. Our first step is to write the percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. So if we're doing number 1 together, remember 25% means 25 out of 100. So we've done step 1. We wrote it as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Step 2 is to write the fraction as a decimal. In the past we've done this, but we've done it a harder way. One way to think about this is it's 25 hundredths. 25 hundredths. If we're to write that as a decimal, we can write it as 0 and 25 hundredths. What you're really doing is taking this 25 and moving the decimal place over to the right twice. If you're ever not sure what to write, think to yourself, how would I say that? 25 hundredths. And this is 25 hundredths. Okay, let's do number 2. 2 is a little bit trickier. Our first step is to write the percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. So 2% means 2 out of 100. So I'm going to write 2 out of 100. Our second step is to write the fraction as a decimal. So I would say this as 2 hundredths. 2 hundredths. And I know that that is a decimal is 0.02. If you're not sure, you can always have your decimal there and move it over 2 to the right. Okay, pause the video and try number 3 on your own. Hopefully number 3 went well for you. Let's go over it now together. 67%. So write it as a fraction with the denominator of 100. 67 out of 100 is equal to 67 hundredths. Okay, how would we write that? 0.67. That's 67 hundredths. Again, you can just move your decimal over 2 to the right. Try the U-try on your own and make sure you really understand this. See you later.